Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. It's your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I'm pumped to come to you today with another fresh new episode for your Friday. Hope you guys are well and doing good. Had a good week. We've had a good week, been productive, been stuck on a couple projects longer than expected just from some delays, some breakages and things, but overall it's been a good week. We are working Friday. If you're listening to this, it's just about real-time live coming to you. We're out working today on a Friday, trying to get caught up with, get our projects done before I head to Equip next week, get our lighting started as well. We got Christmas lights starting possibly this afternoon and Monday into next week. Crews will be hanging while I'm gone at the show to see all of you. But it's been good. It's been a good week. It's been a good fall. It's made some adjustments in the business. You've heard me be pretty open and transparent about that, what we're doing, what we're changing, and so that's been it's been a good thing. We're heading in the right direction, getting some things fixed, and I'm excited to be able to share that stuff with you, right? Like, I want to share our struggles, our trials, our hardships, and our wins with you to show you what can be done when you are in something and maybe you get out of it and start moving the needle forward again. But anyway, I'm pumped for the week ahead. Equip's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see you all there. You can still get in for 50% off, $30 with code GG50. That will go away in 2 days. On the 19th, Sunday, that will be gone. And so you can get it for 50% off, but it goes up to $60 at that point. It'll be a $120 regular ticket, $60 50% off ticket. So $30, not too much. If you're on the fence, if it's going to be a game time decision, still get it, sign up, use the code, get 50% off to get it in the door. There at Equip. Really quickly here on a Friday, I want to talk to you about being a leader and what that looks like. And, this is a leadership development, entrepreneurship, like life vlog of mine that we do in here on the show. And we have some great interviews. Occasionally we have some great interviews. And, the show's kind of transformed a little bit over the last 12, 18 months of where we used to be primarily heavy interviews. It's kind of transitioned a little bit to where now it's me telling our story of business and growth and what that looks like and documentation of that along the way. I'm kind of excited to look back on this in 10 years and be like, man, I listened to some shows and remember where we were, because I try to tell you all pretty plainly and clearly what we're going through day to day. And so I am pumped to look back on that in a couple years and be like, man, I remember that. It was not a good year, but we got through it, we made it, and now we're in a whole different spot. So I do want to keep that coming to you. And I want to today talk a little bit about leadership and some things that I'm learning, some things that I've learned, and just some ways that you can show up to be a better leader for your team and what that looks like going into the fall here. Going into the winter, things may slow down. You have some more time with the guys. You're not super pressed to get work in the ground as much as you are from March until November. But anyway, I just want to run through a few points here today that I have for you, just ways to be a better leader. There's nothing profound. It's just things to think on. Things for you to say, you know what, yeah, I should be focusing on that more. I should do this. I should do that because, as a leader, it's your responsibility to guide your team when they may not have the ability to do that themselves. They may not have the ability to really learn and grow on their own. They've never been taught how. That you can do that. You can teach them. And so I want you to, first off, start leading by example, right? And this is one that is really, really easy to say and a lot harder to actually implement. The old phrase, do as I say, not as I do type thing. I'm a victim of that, and I have to work on that daily. And really that's just from a sense of accountability and, some simple like SOP things that we're trying to implement and do that it's hard for me to even keep up with and do continuously. That's where I struggle with it. When it comes from like getting in the field, doing the work, leading like that doesn't bother me at all. I'm always the first one to go out there and grab something that I don't want to do, right? If it's not fun, I'll still go do it, right? I'm not going to just say, hey, I don't want to do this, guys. You can do it, right? Now, I will say, as I've grown and we've added more people, I know better how to delegate things that should be done, right? If I'm on a project and there's something that needs to be done that they can't do, then I'm going to go do that task and let them do the things that they can do well. And so even that task may be harder, right, that they're having to do, but if my time is better spent on something that I know how to do and they don't, and it's not something that they need to be trained in, they're not going to learn how to do it, then it's on me to go do that task, to use my time wisely. So that is what I talk about when I'm saying lead by example is just hey, we're going to start implementing this policy, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, set it. You have to be held accountable to it. Showing up on time, following this procedure, those things that you have to do to grow the business, it's tough. It's tough as the business owner as well. And for me, that is one thing that I want to make sure that I continue to grow in every day is that if I put a policy in place, I'm going to keep it just as good or better than my guys because that's how they will see that. They'll buy into that, and then they'll actually start doing it themselves. Also, I want you to communicate very, very clear. Communication is something we've talked about on our show for a long time. And a lot of times, frustration from your team comes from confusion, right? And confusion comes from lack of clarity. Lack of clarity comes from lack of communication. And so, how can I communicate better to my team? What does that boil down to? Maybe it's putting a system in place to communicate jobs and workflows, what expectations are for a job. That's been a lot of our problem this year was expectations not necessarily being met, but that's because they didn't necessarily have a clean slate. Here's what we're doing, A to Z, very lined out, very specific, very clear map for them to follow. And so just remember that you can explain the why to them, not just the what. And in that explanation of the why, you're probably going to get better buy-in, right? For me and my guys, I always continuously try to explain why we do what we do and share our vision and everything behind it, because if they don't know my vision and where I want to go, then how are they going to buy in and try to achieve their goals inside of our company? We try to do that really almost weekly and just make sure that they remember and see where we're going, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Because you also want to know, you want to know that they know what success looks like in your company, and ask that question continuously. Do you know what success looks like today? Like if you get to the end of the day before, say your morning rollout, right? You're sitting there and you say, the end of the day is coming. Do you know what success is? And what does success look like at the end of the day today? Well, if they don't give you a good answer, a clear answer, then you want to make sure that they know what that is and clarify that for them. How can they change things? How can they fix things? How can they do this, do that, to make sure that they match your expectation for success and what that is by the end of the day? So just continue that, and maybe start it. Maybe you're not doing that well right now. Then start it and make sure that they know how to make sure that they're successful inside of the company. Make sure you are always, always, always praising in public, right? Recognize the effort they put into something and do not correct them in front of their peers. Now, if it's a repeatable offense over and over and over again, and they're like copping an attitude, like there's a bit deeper issue there, then there may be a reason, there may be a time for that. But originally, if it's like just an initial mistake, like you praise efforts, guys, you praise good things in public, and then in private, you can talk to them about things. Don't walk up and criticize someone in front of their coworkers. That's not fun. It's not fun for them. It's not fun for you either. But it's not fun for your coworkers. They don't want to be a part of that, right? Make sure that they are getting all the praise in public across the board. Make sure your team knows you value them. That comes back to communication, but please, please, please recognize the effort that's being made. If they're showing up early, if they're staying late, if they're doing a little extra thing here and there, like those are the things that matter, because it's not always about money, guys. People don't just love money. They don't just want to buy in for money all the time. They sometimes just want to be valued. And if they know that they're in a company that values them, then they're more likely to stay here for the long run. So make sure you see their efforts. If they're going the extra mile, doing the extra thing, make sure that you reward them for that, because if you don't, they're way more likely to say, I'm going to go somewhere where I feel more valued and more appreciated. This kind of goes back to step one here with leading by example, but accountability, guys, like you have to hold everyone accountable. If you can't hold people accountable, you're never going to grow and you're never going to see things change. And that is me preaching to myself. If I can't hold people accountable for things that we set in place and they don't do them, including Jeremiah, right, then how are you going to grow? How are things going to get better? How are you going to see things change? If you just do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result, what is that? This is the definition of insanity, right? So day to day, how can I make sure that I'm holding people accountable in the right manner? You love someone when you hold them accountable, right? Because it means that you care enough about them to not see them continue to move backwards, right? You have to make sure that they're moving forward, and moving forward only comes out of accountability. The greatest CEOs in the world, the greatest leaders in the world, they hold their teams accountable. Their teams know that. They have metrics to hit. They need to hit them. And if they don't, then you need to know what is the right thing to do for them to change to hit them. Okay? It's very easy. It's very easy to say, right? It's very easy to say. It's not very easy to do. Hey guys, guess what? October, it's coming, and you know what that means. It is time for Equip Expo. October the 21st to the 24th. It's in Louisville, Kentucky again this year. And I'll tell you what, for 5 years now, I have walked that floor, I've shaken hands, I've seen the ideas spark and the innovation start to get moving in people's brains with what new equipment they can get, what new technologies come, and how they can bring it into their business. Imagine this. You're standing out there, you have 30 acres of demo yard, you have tools humming, you got machines moving, and you get to see what's next in landscaping, hardscaping, and all outdoor power equipment. You're also surrounded by your fellow friends, your industry peers, and people that want to actually grow their companies. You have plenty of education session opportunities, and you get to do plenty of hands-on demos. I can't wait to meet, greet, and mingle with you this year. You get to break bread, have lunch together. There's food trucks. There's so much to do. There's nighttime activities. Guys, it is such a fun time. Sign up today, equipexposition.com. Use code GG50 and get you in the door for $30. You don't want to wait till you get to the door because it's $60 to get in, and no one needs to pay that. 50% off. Use code GG50. Get you in the door for $30 at equipexposition.com. We'll see you in Louisville, October the 21st to the 24th this year for another great Equip Expo. It's not easy to hold people accountable because it especially when it comes back to you. Holding yourself accountable is the hardest. So what can you do to better hold yourself accountable and better show your team, hey, I'm here for you, but I want you to be consistent. I want to be consistent. Everyone on this crew watches when you're consistent and when you're inconsistent. So what can we do to make sure that we're doing that the best way possible? Invest in them by training. Train. Teach. Let them try. Let them fail, right? Let them mess up. Let them make mistakes, and then teach again. It comes with time. Learning comes with time, and it's one of those things that you have to do. You have to let go, and that's a conscious effort for me, right? Transparently, it's a conscious effort for me to say, here, you do this. Take longer on this while I sit here and watch. But it's one of those things that, like, if you don't ever teach them and train them, then they'll never know how to do it, and you'll be the one there every single time. I'm teaching one of our guys irrigation right now, and it's like, I've learned this. I've spent the last 14, 16 months learning this, and I've got it figured out to a good extent now, but now I'm like, okay, now I got to train him to do it. And so it's sitting there letting him figure it out, letting him train and him learn, and it takes longer on jobs, but it's me, again, building him up, teaching him, and investing in him because he's learning a new skill that he can now take away and implement somewhere else. Like he can take this skill with him for the long run and use it down the road. You don't ever know when things will come into play. Making sure that they know how to grow, right? A promotion path of, hey, I'm just coming in as a team member to cut grass, all the way up to I'm now running a crew, all the way up to, hey, now I'm managing a division, right? Like, how can they do that? Figure that out for them, make sure they want that, and then show them the steps to get there. Respect and appreciation in your company is so crucial. If you don't build that from the beginning, right, you will have issues. We've gone through that in the last 12 months. We've gone through some respect issues, respect of other people, right? People come in, people come out, you respecting each other along the way, what that looks like, different roles. There's a lot there, and it's very disrespectful when you have a sarcastic tone all the time, you have an attitude, you don't listen. Like, those are things that build bad culture in your company, and you have to know how to one, set that for yourself, and then two, translate that over into your team. If you have people on your team being disrespectful, that's not acceptable, right? And you have to lay that out from the beginning. How do you know what to do? How do you know what to keep up with? How do you know what metrics to manage? How to kind of gauge what a respectful culture is? Just ask people. Ask people in your company, say, hey, what do you think the overall vibe is here? Is it like we love each other, we care about each other, we're here to build each other up? Are we tearing people down? Are we always complaining? Like, ask those questions and get feedback from your crews. Because if they all come back and say, yeah, like, it just feels like people are complaining all the time and nobody really listens, like, that is bad. That's a bad culture. You got to quit and you got to fix immediately. People do not just quit their job, right? They quit the environment that they work in. And that I've never seen that more true and learned more about that than I have this year about, hey, we have people that want to come in, want to follow procedures, want to do this, want to do that, and we don't have the procedures in place, or we try to put them in when we don't follow them. Like, people leave. High performers will leave. You have to make sure that you have people that buy into what you want to do, but then you have to make sure and give them the path to actually win, because you have to make sure that these small gestures along the way of, like, again, investing in them, holding them accountable, being respectful, teaching them respect, those things go a long way, and it helps them build loyalty. When they know that you care about them, they're going to be loyal to you for the rest of time. One of the last things before I wrap up today that I've talked about on the show so many times, you have to keep your cool under pressure. You have to make sure you don't explode and you don't blow up when something goes wrong. I can think of 2 instances over the course of my time here leading people. One of them, I don't really remember what happened, but we were hiring a new guy last in 2024, and I knew this guy was going to be good for us. He came on, we worked for a day, and you've heard this story if you listened to the show before, but if you're new, like, I'll tell you to you real quick. He came on, he's working for a couple of days, and we were just working, right? We were just working. We never really set a future. We were just working. I needed somebody. And he came on and was working, and something happened one day. Something broke. He did something. I don't remember what happened, but I didn't lose my cool. I didn't blow up at him. I just, like, okay, fix it, move on, like, let's keep going. And at the end of the day, we rolled up and parked the truck, and he said, like, I was really waiting to commit to working with you until I saw how you handled something that went bad, and how you handled that today just solidified this is where I need to be right now. And that was really refreshing to hear. It was really good to hear that, like, hey, he does notice this stuff. He noticed how I responded under pressure, and he appreciated that. Because a lot of guys will just freaking lose their cool, cuss up a storm, chew them out. That's not me. That's not what I want to do. It's not how I want to lead. And so that was one. And when you do that, right, when you have that, that's your tendency, right, that's your trait about you, a good character trait, that your crew also knows that when you do, like, something happens and you do react a little overboard, it's like, oh, this is serious. Like, he's not just joking, because he doesn't just overreact for fun, right? Like, if he's going to react like this, there's a problem here, and we got to help him get it fixed, right? They don't lose your team loses confidence in you when you react like that. When you cannot stay calm and stay steady in the midst of something, they're not going to believe that you can lead them well. When you can stay calm, when something's under pressure, something's breaking, something's not working out the way it should, you just figure it out and you move on, right? Last week on this job, we had to add a whole irrigation zone. We were ready to cover trenches. Like, let's start laying sod. We plug everything up. We have too low of pressure. We got to add a whole thing. I didn't get pissed. I didn't get mad. I was like, oh, freak. All right, here we go. This sucks, but let's do it, right? And guess what? They follow along and say, yep, let's go. Let's do it. You've heard this explanation. You've heard this analogy. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. The thermostat sets the temperature. The thermometer reads the temperature. You need to set the temperature in your company. You set that culture. You set that accountability. That all lives and dies and runs through you. If you can't continue to do that and you can't do it well, don't try to lead people, because you will run into the ground. People will leave you. You will get in a hole deeper than you don't think you could ever get out of, because you can't control your temper. In recap, these things are not groundbreaking, but these are things that will change your company if you just follow them day to day, right? Pick one of these things that we went through. There's 6 or 7 of them today. Pick one and say, hey, I'm going to really work on this and dive in and see how your team responds. And then let me know, right? Let me know. Because I would love to know feedback of, hey, this actually works, it doesn't work. We did this and it really worked. We saw a positive change. I love the feedback on those things because this is how we grow. You get around people, you listen to things like this, so you can say, hey, this is tangible. I want to actually put this and implement it. This is how we lead our team better. This is how our people grow. This is how our company grows. And in turn, everyone in our life grows. Leadership is not about how loud you talk, right? It's not about how loud you can talk. It's about one thing. It's about how well you can lift the people up around you. If you can lift the people up around you, you're going to be a good leader. They're going to buy in, they're going to follow, and you're going to build something greater than you can ever imagine. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here on Monday for another Marriage Monday, and we'll see you in Louisville on Tuesday for Equip Expo 2025. Use code GT50 to get the book $30 through Sunday the 19th. See you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.